said, to live beyond your means today is to live below them tomorrow. So if today I earn 100,000 and I live at 150,000, tomorrow when the money is coming in, the 100,000, actually what is coming in is 50,000 because I'm already 50,000 above what is my means. Living below our means is a key step towards personal financial freedom and enjoying the life of your personal finances. Budgeting. We can never outgrow budgeting. Budgeting, in simple terms, is telling your money where to go, not wondering where it went. There's always two people at the end of each month wondering, but I just had 10,000 in the M-Pesa the other day. Right now, I only have 569 shillings. Where has all the money gone? Budgeting helps you to plan and tell the money you are going to go to the rent, you are going to go to this investment, you are going to go to pay school fees, you are going to go to savings and investment. Budgeting puts you in control of your money. Money will buy you opportunities. Money will get you chances in rooms probably you never have been able to go to, but money will never make the decisions for you. So regardless of whether you're earning your current salary, your dream salary, or less than what you believe you deserve, budgeting is compulsory and will help you accelerate you to your next place. Saving and investments. Saving and investments helps you move from working for your money, because when you go to work, you have to work every single day of those your working days to be able to get your money, get your salary, or get your business income. And saving and investing ensure that that money you have put is not lazy, is not sitting in your bank account. It is out there working hard to make more money for you. So 5 things we have mentioned. You must invest in knowledge, and not just invest in knowledge, you must apply it. If between two people, one person goes to 10 classes and applies nothing, and one person goes to only one class and applies only one financial principle, they are much better off than that person who went to 10 classes and did not apply. The year is coming to an end. I am sure many of the things that you're hearing today may not be new, but what have you applied from the time you learned? What have you applied, and what has hindered you from applying? You get to go back to what we learned. What is your mindset? Do you believe that your money is too little to earn or to save? Invest and apply knowledge. 2, track your expenses. Know exactly what is going where. There are so many apps now that you can use. Probably I can plug a few. There's a app called Family Budgets. It's available on your Play Store. There is one called Wallet. That's the one I use. And interestingly, even in the context of families, an app such as Wallet is one where you can synchronize with your partner or your spouse, that you're able to track the family expenses. You must be able to track your expenses to be able to retire, to live free and retire in freedom. 3, budgeting. You must tell your money where to go. Once you know where it is going by tracking, then you discover, maybe I'm spending more on luxuries than on necessities. Then you'll be able to tell it where to go. You must decide that if today I am living in a place where I'm paying rent that is more than the recommended percentage of my income, then it probably means I may need to move. As you reflect on your goals in the year, when you're saving and investing, you are never, I dare say this, and it may be controversial, you never have too little to save. Even if it is 10 shillings where you're starting today, save, and with time, invest your money. We always hear about stories about charmers, about people who began by saving what looks like a paltry amount of money, 50 shillings, 100 shillings, and the power of coming together and doing it consistently always yields results. Always yields results. I remember when I had my first job, And I as it was those first jobs that make you sweat, that you will never, the end, there is more month at the end of the money. And I remember going around my colleagues and asking them to give me one financial principle that has worked for them. And one lady told me, I know what you're earning because I know the beginner salary in this organization, and it is not much. But what I can tell you is whatever the amount, take an amount every month and save it. What I realize now is the wisdom I should have gotten then is take that amount and try and grow it as small as it is. Don't just store it, because inflation will eat it away. Invest it so that you guard it from inflation. If you can move on to the next slide, if you can kindly share your feedback, any questions that you have, kindly share it in your chats, in the chats or in the Q&A section. I'll be glad to answer. So I've given a draft as a sample of a personal budget. This changes depending on where you are in life, but the general principles do not change. That out of all that you have been given, you need to allocate some to giving. We are never meant to get, as a principle of life, we are never meant to get something and keep it all to ourselves. I've allocated 20% there because various faiths, I belong to the Christian faith, and we have the principle of tithing, which is 10%. So I allocated 20% there because there could be other forms of giving that you give. There's giving for your parents, there's giving towards other causes, other needs that are coming up. I'm sure all of us belong to a certain WhatsApp group where we are being requested to support people. So there is that element. Plan for your giving, plan for your saving. Saving, one of the most revolutionary things I have learned about saving is that saving is paying yourself. Often we tell ourselves that when we are paid at the end of the month, or when we have the balance at the end of the month in our businesses, how do we pay ourselves? We go to our shoe shop and buy shoes. We do what Kenyans call kupigia mwili pole. We go and give ourselves a treat in a good restaurant. And there is a place for that. That is called entertainment. But saving is actually paying yourself. It is saying, out of all the money that has come, that I've worked for, is what has gone to the landlord or the mortgage, is what has gone to health, is what has gone to the education of yourself or your children, is what has gone to maintaining the lifestyle I have, is what has gone to shopping and utilities. What is left that is yours is your saving. Saving is paying yourself. And even in business, we are encouraged that when the first person to pay is yourself. Yeah. After you have met all the other, as you meet all the other business expenses, remember to pay yourself. Then there is investing. Don't just, it's not enough to keep away, though it's a good step. It's a good first step. You must invest so that the money is working. And the goal of investing, and I want to share this goal with you, this is one of my financial goals, is to ensure that the money that is out there working for me exceeds the money I am actively working for. That what you'd call the passive income exceeds my active income. That will help us to go, and as we said, when we're thinking about personal finances and we're thinking about retirement and financial wellness in general, we must think like trees, and not these trees that you plant in January and you already have a tree in December. No, we are thinking the Mugumo tree. I don't have the equivalent. We're thinking the Mugumo tree that takes years to even sprout from the ground and to become a forest. We are thinking long term. So what are we hearing? Can you share any reflections that you're having? In any questions that you have? Anna or Gucha, kindly alert me on any questions that may be coming up as we move on. So today we're learning about we are learning that we must think futuristic, we must think forward, we must start where we are. We must know that the seeds that we are planting today in discipline The seeds that we are planting today, in withholding, in delaying gratification, the seeds that we are planting today, in putting away, even if there are many opportunities to spend and to splurge, that those seeds are the seeds for the trees under whose shade we'll be able to sit in our retirement years. If you can move on to the next section, share the name of the app for the budget. There is Family Budget. I know people who use Family Budget, and there's one called Wallet. Wallet. If you find it in your App Store on Android, you will get it. So let's move on to the next thing. So we've learned how we manage our personal finances today determines how much we will enjoy our retirement. I want to say enjoy and not suffer, because I believe that as we are getting an education and as we are getting trained and as we are getting skills, we will be able to retire in freedom. So when you think retirement, we can move on to the next one. When you think retirement, no, sorry, I had a short assignment for you, a challenge. We have learned this. We have learned about saving. We've learned about investing. We've learned about putting aside money. So I have a challenge for you. And the challenge is, one, if you are not doing it yet, if today I asked you, how much do you spend on food in your house? Or how much do you really pay for eating out? If you're not able to answer that question to a close to a very accurate to a good estimate, then it's time to start tracking your expenses. So my challenge for us is track your expenses. Then 2, invest in financial literacy. Coming here is one of the ways, but there's so much resources that are available online, that are available in your bookstop, that are available for you. And then I always believe that when you're reading about money books, money principles are universal, but I always find that when you read books written in our context, in our African context, and even in our Kenyan context especially, it's more relatable. So there's so many financial books. I believe we'll be able to, I can share some resources which will be forwarded to you for good books that you can read that will help you become financially free. And then begin to save. Even if it means 50 shillings, begin to save. All right. So what is retirement? When we think about retirement, what comes to mind? What comes to mind? I'd really like to see what your feedback is here. What comes to mind? Who do you think about when you think about retirement? There's always, when you think about retirement, there's maybe an image of a person that comes to mind that you know about or have heard about, or there's a story that you've heard about in and around retirement. Do you have any feedback, Gucha?
Okay, so what I can see from the chat is please share the names of app for budget. And then, Jen Apollo is saying freedom.
Freedom. When you think of retirement, you think freedom. That is really nice. Let's get some more feedback, please. I'm sure we know someone who's in retirement. Maybe if there's someone who is in retirement and is here, you can tell us what it means to you. Do you have any concerns around it? Have you seen someone retire well? And how did that look like for you? What do you think about when you think about retirement? Okay.
There's another one.
It's old.
Yeah, Nicholas is saying old.
Yeah, so when you think retirement, you think white hair, walking stick, bending forward. And teeth in a glass. Any other reflections on it? Freedom and absolute enjoyment. Hey, I like this. Because I'm going to have very fire retirements. No more work. Yeah. So no more work. Yeah. So an opportunity to do my things, doing some passive income thanks to the trainings. Doing what you love without financial pressure because the young you had saved enough for the old you. I think it means that we can close this. We can close this meeting. We can close this meeting with this comment. Doing what you love without financial pressure because the young you had saved enough for the old you. And I think that summarizes what is the goal? What is our goal here at Capable? That if this is the reality of all of us after this session, then we will have succeeded. That we will have a retirement that is free of worry, free of stress, free of pressure. So what are the myths around retirement? Maybe that's why we can jump into that now. What are the myths around retirement? What are the myths? What are the things that people think about when they think about retirement? And it may not necessarily be true. One is that retirement is for the old. Yeah, that we need to get to a certain age where now even the government tells you now, you can't even keep up. You cannot even keep up with the online and the digital world. Now it's time for you to go home, or you've worked enough. You need to make room for the next generation. It's time for you to go home. We think of it as something that is for old people. We also think about retirement as something that is for the employed. Those are the ones who are going to retire. Those are the ones who have an employer who's going to who has a pension scheme, and so they are sorted. Yeah. Another thing that we think about retirement is that we think my retirement plan is NSSF. This is one of the biggest lies, that NSSF is my only retirement plan. There are a few lies that are as big as that one. NSSF, or at least you have a calculator with you, if you are to multiply I think the highest contribution right now is 1080. I stand to be corrected. 1080 a month multiplied. Let's even round it off in case they add interest. That is 1,200 a month for purposes of calculation. Times 12 months. Yeah, in every year. Yeah, that is 144,000. No, that is what 14,400. Yeah, multiply it by, on average, people work, if you are those ones who get a job immediately after school, say 25, if you can move on to the next one, 25 years until 60. That is if they don't revise it back to 55 until 60. If you multiply this 14,000 by 35 years, what do you get? And is that enough to live on in retirement? Yeah, it isn't. I think I can say with confidence that it is not enough for you to be able to live on in retirement. So those are the money myths the retirement myths that are around us. 504,000. Thank you, Hillary. Asante. I am seeing you are going to, you said happy and stress-free. Yeah. So the other myth is, I will figure it out when I get there. Yeah. Don't stress. If you're those people who believe that we'll cross the bridge when you get to it, the bridge of retirement, if you try and cross it when you get to it, it will not be well with you. Then, even if we are not saying it, if we are not planning for our retirement, then we are saying, my children, my relatives, my dependents, my kinsmen, my friends, they are my retirement plan. So if we're not planning for retirement, actually, we are subscribing to one or more of these myths. And the greatest lie, the reality is that retirement is not an age. I had this the other day and it was really mind-blowing that retirement is not an age, because it's true. We think about when you think it's for the old. Retirement is not an age. It's a number that you can choose. You can choose to retire at your ripe age of 40, because retirement is that stage where we do not have to actively work to make a living. We do not have to actively work to not make to make a living. It's exactly what was shared, that where the old you can take things a little easy, the old you can live life at their pace. The old you can now wake up after the sun, not the way you're used to wake up 5 hours before the sun, because the young you made plans. So the mates that we are here look like they are like it's for other people, but really they're not planning. We are subscribing to them. You will not figure it out when we get there, because one of the if we can move on as we've defined retirement. Retirement is where we don't have to actively work for our income, where our passive income, remember what we said earlier, is now more than our active income, and the plans and the investments that we made when we were younger are now can now cater for our expenses. It is we no longer need to, so we can wake up. If you have a restaurant, you can wake up and go and supervise and check and say, it is good. But you no longer have to go to the market in the morning to ensure there are supplies, to ensure that the suppliers are paid, to ensure that the customers are happy. You no longer have to do that. You do it out of your own will. That is retirement. There are several retirement realities that we must be aware of. One, and I had a finance guru say this the other day. She's called Susan. She said, there is a loan for almost everything except retirement. You will get a loan for going on holiday. I think they even apps that even give you, and circles that even give you a dowry loan. You can even get school fees loan, even a happiness loan. You can get a loan for almost anything except retirement. No one will tell you, here is this money, go and retire, I know you'll pay us. Kenya is among the most retirement poor countries in the world. And that reality was very mind-blowing for me, because I thought Kenyans are enterprising. Kenyans around the world, we are known for our work ethic. When we go to places where they are not as aggressive as we are, in fact, we make them uncomfortable. How is it that we are among the most retirement poor people that there are? Why? Because there is a significant number of people who are not formally employed, and therefore, many of these people, not all, many of these people do not have a solid pension plan. Actually, not everyone who is even formally employed has a pension plan beyond NSSF. So the fact that we have such a big majority of people who are informally employed may give us a reason, may give us an inkling to why so many people do not have a retirement plan. That we work and work and work to our very last day until we are told you're given a party at the end of our stay at work. We are thrown for a party, and there's those typical gifts sometimes people get when they are going into retirement. I'm sure you know about them. The other reality is that you will retire as long or longer than you have worked. So, say you're an ideal Kenyan who began working at 25 years, and you work until, let's do 55 years for purposes of this example. Those are 30 years. Then you live. If you just look at your family line, you can tell your grandmother, how long did she live? Your father, he is still alive well in his 80s. So you will probably have another 30 years to live. So if you have another 30 years to live, that means when you're working today, this November 2023, you are not just working for November 2023. You are working for November 2023, and that other November, in the other half of the 30 years, where you will be retired. And that is why, as we said, living below your means is necessary, is mandatory, so that there is this surplus that enables you to pay yourself, the older self, in advance, to put money in an account for that your older self. We must plan for retirement, because when we are working for this month and next month. So even the bare minimum, we cannot even be eating next month's salary by taking advances, because not only do we have this month to cater for, we have another month that is coming where we are not actively employed. So what are the next steps? We have shared the myths, we have shared the realities, we have understood what retirement really is, that you can pick to retire. Retirement is not an age, because even at 80, there are people who have to go to work actively, because they are not able to if they do not work, they do not eat, they do not have they do not have food on their table, they do not have clothes on their backs. What are the steps that we must make to ensure that we have security in our retirement? We must plant trees today, under whose shade we will sit on in our sunset years. I'd mentioned this at the beginning, that I must think about money and my personal finances like those trees that take years. If I want a mugumo tree, or the tree that takes long to grow, when was the best time to plant it? The best time to plant it is when I was born. In fact, my parents should have planted it for me. But the next best day is the day you got paid. But then if you have not done all that from the day you are paid, whether it's from the day you started your business or from the day you got your first salary, the next best day is today. Why is it good to start early? Because when you start early, time works for you. When you start early, 1,000 that I began investing 10 years ago has grown and will accrue more to me in the next 20 years than the 1,000 I start investing today, if you're using the same investment vehicle, for instance. So when you start early, time works for you. The time value of money. The element of compounding interest, where when I invest 1,000 today and it accrues an interest of 10% at the end of the year, at the beginning of next year, I will have 1,100 to invest. And the same, I believe all of us are familiar with compound interest. When we are thinking our retirement, we must start the earliest that we can. If there are any young people in our 20s, we envy you. We envy you, because you have the time and the opportunity to begin small. Yeah, when you begin in your 20s, you don't have to start with 10,000. When you begin your 20s, you can start even with 500, and it will accrue greatly for you over the years. When you plan for retirement, you plan for long life. Always, if our mindset is that retirement is for the old, we always imagine that when you retire, we are 5 steps away from the grave. We are not. If you retire at 55, okay, currently it is 60. At 75, you will be 15 years retired. How many 75-years do you know? I'm sure you know several. They've been retired 15 years. Yeah. So plan for long life. Plan that you will live for long, so that you plan well. Plan for liquidity. Plan for liquidity. Liquidity is really having cash that you can reach quickly. I don't mean in your phone. It is having money in a money market account, for instance. That is an area that you can consider, where you can get money within 2 to 3 working days. Plan for liquidity.
Hello, Rispa, we can't hear you. You've gone mute.
Hi, Rispa. I don't know. Let me just contact her and see.
She has also not sent the slides. Somebody has said the slides have been sent, but they are not there.
They are in the chat. They're in the chat box. Maybe let's just again, let's resend again.
Did we lose? Did we drop? Did the call drop?
Yes,
Yeah,
you
we
dropped.
just
Okay, sorry. Are we back on?
You are in the plan
Yes,
for
we are back.
liquidity.
You are talking about money market and liquidity.
Yes. So plan for a good balance of your assets such that you're not asset rich and cash poor. You'd rather be asset rich than poor, but you can plan for a good mix of your investment such that you are liquid, you are able to meet your medical bills. I was sharing some information that we got, that a friend was sharing how they'd go to during the COVID time, and people of course had caught COVID, and there were medical bills that they had never anticipated, that for some time that in medical insurance, for instance, was not catering for. And you'd go for fundraiser for what in those neighborhoods are small amounts of money, but you see all their assets are tied in plots, are tied in land, are tied in things that cannot easily be converted to cash. So as we plan for retirement, and even because in planning for retirement, we are making those investments now, we need to think beyond just plots. Often the message of plot, shamba has been sold in our minds that we believe this is the only way that we should invest. It is one of the ways, and it is good, but it is not the only way. We need to consider what are the other investment vehicles that we can use that will help us to be liquid in our retirement. Then plan within your current interests, strengths, and abilities. I chose to put this here, that this is not the time for a matatu business if you have never been in the business. We have had stories upon someone who took their lump sum after retirement and invested in the matatu industry. The matatu industry, for anyone who's not in our Kenyan context, is the public sector, the public transport, and an area where you have no experience. And because people tell you, this one I have been able to buy five matatus from this one matatu that I bought 2 years ago. You imagine that is a way to do it. Don't. Plan within your current interests, strengths, and abilities. Another thing, as a bonus point, I would like to add is that when we think about money, when we think about career, and when we think finances, often we attach it to a job, we attach it to a business. But I'd like to challenge us to think more deeply about purpose. That's a whole different presentation. But when we think about what is our life purpose, our purpose is bigger than our job. Our purpose is bigger than our business. Our purpose is the reason that we were created, is the reason of our being here. And the good thing about purpose is that you can never be fired from it. You can never be retired from it. That it is something that you can continue even in what we call your retirement years. So even as we learn how best to do our jobs, as we learn how best to grow our businesses, we should also be thinking, what is my purpose? Yes, you work in a bank and you're a teller, right? That is your job. But what is that thing in your job that gives you satisfaction? Is it seeing people meet their financial goals? Is it being able to put order to things? Is it what is that thing that, and your purpose is very closely linked to what you're good at and what you enjoy. Yeah. So that is something that you're able to carry on even in your sunset years, maybe at a different skill, but even when the establishment or when your employer lets you go, there is something you can always go back to. And it needs to be related to your current interest, strength, and abilities. If you have interest in the farm, if you picture your retirement in a farm somewhere, maybe the time to start scouting for land where you will have that farm is now, not with your pension, right? Start thinking purposefully, so that you're not thinking that at 55, I will now leave my employer and go stay at home and read the newspaper in the morning and just wait for the day to end. When your life is well linked to your purpose, you will never be out of work. I have a challenge for us as we conclude. I have a challenge for us. If there are any questions, any things in the chat, you can alert me, Gucha. Thank you for the slides. Yeah. All right. Thank you. That you can watch it on the channel. Yeah. So what are the next steps? What's the challenge? So in case you have not made any plans for retirement, you probably, maybe you're an entrepreneur, or you just started out of work, or you are working in a place where they don't have any payments, any pension plan, any retirement plan, enlist the help of a professional to plan for retirement. I believe we have resources of contacts of people that we can share to help you in this. Then one other thing that I felt was important for us to share here is that we need to track and transfer your pension money as you change jobs. Often, if you're many organizations give you pay for your pension, you contribute to your pension as you also contribute to it. When you move jobs, many people take the cash, say, I want the payout. Yeah, kindly, I advise you not to. Move your pension to the next pension scheme where you're going to change jobs, or set up your own pension plan so that you're able to be the one who is at controlling how you're able to control and to track how your pensions are being managed. Start today. Start with as little. There are personal pensions plans which take up as little as 1,000 shillings. Start today and start now. Gucha, you can let me know if you have any questions. Anna, are you there? Okay, maybe you can share in the chat what's the one thing you're going to do, because we said at the very beginning, we said that knowledge in itself is not powerful. It is when it is applied that it becomes powerful. So what is the one thing that you're going to do? One, I see a question: practical steps on dealing with recurrent debt. Often we incur debt because there is a gap between what our expenses are and our income, or that we have, yes, where income mostly exceeds our expenses. And we'll go back to the basics of what we learned, that tracking your money. If we are earning 100,000 shillings, as I said, why do you have expenses of 150,000? And how are you able to condense them into the 100,000? Or how can you grow the 100,000 to add? Because sometimes you may not be able to quickly reduce your expenses. How do you quickly then increase your income? Yeah. Is there a side hustle? We are in the era of side hustle. Is there a side hustle that you can pursue? Is there a skill that you have that you can use over the weekend to generate income? The way to get out of debt, we may give a short answer, is analyze why the debt is there in the first place. Is it that you're overspending on a certain area, or is it an absolute income deficit and you need to adjust your expenses? So you need to find a way to adjust your expenses and increase your income. Do you need to look for a better paying job? Yeah. Do you need to reduce how much you spend probably on even eating out? Do you need to say that maybe I've been sending this person 5,000 and I am not able to, so maybe what we can do is I send you 2,000 so that I'm able to meet my obligations. It goes back to tracking your expenses, tracking them, finding out where you need to adjust. 2, seeing how you can increase your income regardless of how small, because often we get into loans of 3,000. What is that thing that can earn you the 3,000? Yeah. Is there something that you can carry to the office and sell? In the office, always you have people selling socks, clothes for children, shoes. What are those things that you can quickly sell? What is that thing that you can, instead of scrolling endlessly on social media, what is something you can create that you can sell? So you need to analyze why you have a deficit, because often we get into debt because of our deficits in our income versus our expenses. 2, make a plan. Yeah, make a plan, because especially those short-term debts which we get on mobile phones and mobile apps, they are very, very expensive. Make a plan to get out of debt and find a way to increase your income. But you see, even if you increase your income without changing your money habits, remember we talked about money mindsets and money habits. What is in your mindset that made that getting that debt very easy? Were you trying to keep up with someone? Were you trying to get something that you knew was out of reach because you could, delayed gratification is not a thing. So what was the mindset that made you get into debt? And then what are the habits that you need to build today? Yeah. When you are able to track your finances and see where your money is going, and you budget, you will find that as you are budgeting, one of the key things you should budget for is the repayment of debt. I hope that is helpful. Is there any other question? Let's see another question.
Rispa.
Yes.
I can see there is one in the QA section. Someone is asking for practical steps on dealing with recurrent debts.
Yeah, that's the one I was answering.
Oh, yes. Okay.
The tips on how to deal with recurrent debts.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, and then also the other tip is, if you are on 5 mobile phone apps, mobile loan apps, get off them. Get off them. Yeah, because when it is there waiting for you to just ask for just a small 3,000, which when you repay, you will repay at amounts that you never thought possible. Do you know if you repay, let's even take a simple the one where you pay 1% per day. I will not name names in case they are our sponsors here. You pay 1% per day. 1% per day, if you are to borrow, accountants, I hope I am right. If you are to borrow 1% per day, if you borrow 1 shilling in January, how many, and you don't pay anything, how many shillings will you pay in December? I saw an accountant here. If an app gives you a loan at 1% per day, how many will you pay? How many shillings will you pay in December 31st? I think you need to make that calculation and see that the chip really is expensive. Yeah. Any other questions, Gucha? I've loved that this.
No, I don't see any other question.
Okay.
Yes.
I've loved someone who has said that they'll start today. That's good. Start today. Start today. As we are told that the best time to have planted a tree was the day, is it the day you were born? But the next best day is today. So the next best day to do it is today. All right.
All right. So thank you so much, Rispa. Now I'll welcome Anne to say something as I reply. Now I have Susan Nyambura. Hi, Susan. So kindly contact us on the email that I'm going to type here. And for everyone who wants to get the slides on their mail so that we get your email, just contact us at customer service at capable.com so that we can respond to your queries. Okay, and then now let me welcome Anne to say something. Oh, there's one. And
There's one question here I'm seeing.
Yes, can inflation
Nicola.
affect one's budget?
Yes, inflation can significantly affect one's budget. I think as we have witnessed in our country, for those of us who are in the Kenyan context, yeah, inflation significantly affects our budgets because it significantly affects the prices of commodities, goods. That's what inflation is, the rate at which the prices of goods, services, commodities increase every year. We have seen it. We have seen how much nowadays we say what the amount of money you could buy a month's worth of shopping in that is what you carry it in one small paper bag nowadays. So it affects our budget, it is true. And that is why when you're saving, it's not just enough to save your money, that you must invest it, because investing protects your money from inflation. So that you're not, when the money sits in the bank from January to December, actually the value of that money will be less at the end of the month. Yes, it will the value, because of the inflation, the worth, what it can do for you will be less. So we protect our money from inflation by investing it. We also guard against inflation by bringing in more income. Yeah, as we said, we talked about increasing our capacity to earn, whether it is by improving our skills, getting a new skill, so that you're able to get a promotion, so that you're able to do a side hustle, using our skills, using our talents. Yes, so that's that it's the only way to fight against inflation. You must increase your income, and make sure you protect the one that is you're investing. Yeah. Someone was saying, Susan Kucha?
Oh, yes. I think that one has been handled perfectly. Thank you so much. Not unless there's any other unaddressed. Okay. Would you advise someone who has 4 years to retirement to venture in real estate business?
I see this as a trend for many people, that we think we are going to, when you are going home, you build a shop, you build a row of shops, or a row of, a block of apartments that you will be collecting rent. Yeah, that is one of your, that can be one of your investments. It can be, but it shouldn't be your only one. Because when we are investing for retirement, we should be guarding against how quickly something we think is an asset can become a liability. If you have a block of apartments, for instance, where you have built and you want to rent, and there is no tenant. We saw this during the COVID, when the COVID crisis had hit. Many landlords had houses that were vacant. If you have a house that is vacant, actually, often sometimes it depreciates even faster than if there's someone who is living there. Yeah. So how quickly can your, what you believe is an asset, deteriorate into liability, where now it's not bringing you money, it is that you are putting money in it. So I think real estate is a good investment vehicle for retirement, but it should not be your only plan. It should not be your only plan. Yeah. And of course, all the other considerations need to be, where are you putting it up? Yeah. What are your expected costs? Yes. Yeah. What are your expected costs, projected costs, and projected returns? Because I think sometimes with real estate is, when are you going? If you have invested 10 million in the development of flats, when are you going to recoup this money? Is it something that you plan to enjoy, or is it something that you're doing for the future, for your generations? Yeah. So you need to establish what is the return of investment. How much rent am I planning? Am I envisioning I'll be able to get from this investment? And when am I going to get a return on my investment? And then you evaluate and see. So if you're going to be earning a rent of, say, 100,000 per month for the total of your investment, multiply by 12, then you know it will take you around 10 years to be able to recoup your investment. Are you okay with that? Yeah. So real estate, there is no one investment that you can say is foolproof. That's why we're advised to have a portfolio of investments in various areas that serve different goals and that are able to give us financial freedom in various ways. Yeah.
Wow. So thank you so much, Rispa. I think everyone is now content with what you've done. And I don't know, did you handle the one who wants to venture into farming?
Into agriculture. And I think I would say the exact same thing. We mentioned this, Jane. We said if you want to venture into farming, you don't need to wait for retirement to venture into farming. Yeah. Experiment. If you want to do broiler farming, we don't have to start with 1 million broilers to start. Yeah. Do 10 and see how do 10 now, from where you are, and grow into it, because farming is a thing that teaches is supposed to be an enterprise that has to be accompanied by a lot of patience. Is farming. So you cannot start introducing a thing that is teaching you patience in your retirement. Yes, I would say farming is good, but don't wait to retire to start farming. Start now on a small scale and graduate, so that you're able to learn the hard lessons and not without your pension. And that's what we are talking about, doing something that is in line with your interests. When you start early, you're able to learn the hard lessons without your pension. Don't learn hard business lessons with your pension. There may not be room to recover. Yeah.
Great. Also, I think all our concerns have been addressed, and now allow me welcome Anne Nyokabi to take over. Hi, Anne, if you can hear me.
Hi, Gucha, I can hear you. Rispa, thank you so much for relaying this pool of knowledge and for finding time in between your presentation to answer our questions. You've answered well. We are grateful. For the attendees, I'm happy that you've honored us with your presence and listened to us. I would like to say that Rispa and our other facilitators have much more to offer you, to guide you on. So you can join our Retire Well. It's an annual subscription where you will have virtual monthly training, legal advice, free visa for paid up, abroad seminars, and discount on CPD events. Talking of CPD events, we have CPD events in December in Mombasa and other regions, which you may feel free to join and learn more from our facilitators. Again, thank you so much. Back to you, Gucha.
Okay, thank you so much, Anne. I can see Apollo's hand is raised. Hi, Apollo. You want to say something?
No, sorry. It was raised by mistake.
Oh, it's
Sorry.
all right. Thank you so much. Now, you can see something has been displayed there. That is the 4th lifelong deep walk. So we are inviting all our clients. It's a free event that we are going to do. You can see the venue, Karura Forest. That is on 12th December. So you can see the detail. Now, for registration details, Mwachi, kindly share the link so that they can get hold of it. Okay, so this is where we are going to explore. We are going to, sometimes staying in a busy environment where you're working can be so exhausting, and you need some time to break out of that dome or boredom, that is. And so we have organized for you in the name of Capable and we are going to run it. That is on 12th. You can see the link has been displayed there. Just click on the link. Just click on the link, and then you'll see further guidance. So it's stepwise. So the details that are required will be displayed in the link. Please confirm if you can see the link. Let me have even one person replying to that link so that I'm sure people can see it. Yes, thank you, Sam. Thank you so much. All right, so you can just, it's a free event actually. So just take your time and fill the link and we'll get your registration. Thank you so much, Mwachi. Otherwise, to the rest of the people who have attended this event, this session, thank you so much. And I believe you've gotten something. And we are happy that you're here. And we are also happy that you take your time to also be part of this. Thank you so much and have a good afternoon and enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.